Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my eyeshadow basics video. In this video I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of eyeshadow and how you can use it towards any colors and any palettes, so stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our concealer. I'm using Natural by LA Girl and I'm going to prime my lids. Here we prime our lids so that it sets a smooth foundation. As you can see, I'm using my finger to blend it out. You can use a beauty blender or whatever, just making sure that it's nice and smooth. Once you're done blending it out, you're going to take your lightest eyeshadow shade, or similar skin shade, and we're going to set the concealer. That way, once you start using your eyeshadows, it's not going to be patchy. It'll blend really smooth. Okay, now that we're ready to go, the first thing you're going to want to find is your crease. Now, your crease is that natural dip in your eye or the fold that you see when you look up and look around. Then you're going to want to take a fluffy blending brush. This is my number 12 brush by BH Cosmetics. And take your transition shade. This is my Morphe 35N palette. And work it softly into the crease. Now when you start off with your transition shade, you really want it to be diffused. That's why I'm holding the brush towards the end and using windshield wiper motions and circular motions. That way it's not so heavy-handed. The transition shade is usually at the top of the eyeshadow that you see, and it's usually the beginning of the gradient. So I'm gonna want to work slowly, not take too much at a time, and make sure that I could just build up the color. You want to build and blend. You don't want to start off with too much and then try to blend it out, because usually chances are you'll end up with a black eye or you'll end up with some patchy eyeshadow that just isn't cute. Cinema. And remember you guys don't have to use the exact same colors I'm using. I'm just showing you the fundamentals so you can use this towards any eye colors and any makeup look. A transition shade is really just something like it's the glue. It merges the colors together, it makes it match, and it gives some depth to your eyeshadow. Once I have that blended the way I want it to, I'm going to take my next blending brush. It's a little bit tighter, and it's my 11 brush from my BH Cosmetics kit, and I'm going to take a shade that's a little bit deeper than my transition shade. I'm going to create even more depth. I'm going to go back and go slightly underneath my crease to blend it out. With this brush I'm using, you can see that it's a lot tighter, meaning it's not so open and fluffy, and it's not going to be diffused. It's going to be a lot more focused in wherever I put it. So I'm just creating a lot more depth, going in a little bit lower than my crease, and you can start to see that gradient I was talking about. Now even though it's more focused, you can still get that harsh line at the top of it, so make sure that you blend it out and blend it out well. After this, you can totally skip the cutting, but with my eyeshadow, I like to cut if I'm going to use a lighter shade. So I'm going to take that same concealer that I used before, the Pro Concealer in Natural, and I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going to start creating my cut crease. The reason why I like to do this is because it just looks a lot more neater. You'll see what I'm talking about. To find that cut crease, you're just going to take some at the tip of your lid, the bottom where your eyelashes are, and you're going to look up to stamp where your cut crease should be. And what I mean by it looks a lot neater is sometimes you'll see girls skip the concealer part and go straight to their brightest shade, but it doesn't look as put together for me. So if I'm going to teach you guys some fundamentals, I'm going to teach you guys the way I like to do it. And I like my eyeshadow to be really neat and just poppin'. I want our eyeshadow to pop, and I want you to see the contrast. I want you to see the gradient. You're going to see all of this, okay? If you want to skip the concealer part, guys, that's totally fine. This is makeup, there's no rules, so go ahead and try out and experiment with whatever you want to. After I'm done with that concealer, I'm going to blend it out, and for eyeshadow, I'm going to use my matte shade. You can use glitter, you can use foil, any main color that you want. And like I said, I'm taking this matte shade and I'm going to pack it onto wherever I put the concealer. and this is the focal point of our eyeshadow. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to take another small blending brush, and it's my 13 brush by BH Cosmetics. And then I'm going to take a really deep shade that I want to use for my eyeshadow, and I'm going to work that into my outer V. Here where you see my brushes, that is the outer V, you guys. That's where you want to work and build little by little to work up for that gradient. You don't want to use too much at once because it'll end up being muddy or too harsh. And then I'm going to take a fluffy blending brush, it's clean, and blending out the harsh lines at the top. So remember, just work little by little and create that gradient. Next up, I'm taking my favorite liner in the whole wide world. It's my NYX matte black eyeliner, and I'm going to do my winged liner. You can totally skip this step, you guys. If you want to skip the liner, or if you're not as good as you'd like to be with it yet, I would recommend a deeper shadow, maybe a black or a deep brown, and you can just line the bottom of your top lid and that'll work just fine. Okay, once I'm done with that, I'm just prepping my eyelashes. Guys, I finally have eyelashes again. And I'm going to take this Great Lash mascara by Maybelline, listening to my Miguel, and just doing a light coat and prepping for my falsies. This is my Ardell Demi Wispies. I could listen to Miguel all day, you guys, you don't understand. Anyway, I'm gonna take my Ardell Demi Wispy eyelash falsie and just carefully place that on top of, like, right above my lash line with some tweezers. And then I'm not gonna squeeze too hard with my eyelash curler. I'm only doing that to bring them together. So I'm blending my eyelash with my falsie. Here I'm just doing the finishing touches at the top of my eyeshadow and tightlining. And now for this part is where we bring it all together. So the two deepest shades I use for my eyeshadow, I'm going to put on the bottom where my waterline is. And the reason why we do this, you guys, is because we want balance. It wouldn't look right if I only did the top as my eyeshadow and not put anything underneath. It's a rookie mistake, but I learned it the hard way. So don't forget to blend that underneath and even put some mascara. But yeah, you guys, I got this mascara for free. It came with my micellar water, which I live for. But as you can see, now that I matched the bottom of my eyelid to the top, it just looks so balanced and so much better. You can even add some highlight in your brow bone and inner corners if you're feeling, you know, a little glowy, a little juicy. But that's the Eyeshadow Basics tutorial, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me see what looks you guys create, and I will see you guys in my next video.